See there, she has a red dress.
They are
she
very
wants to
happy.
play. Who
They are very happy.
See Jane,
They are
she has a
very
red
happy.
dress.
Very nice.
She
They
wants
are
to play.
very happy.
Who will play with
They
her?
are very
See
happy.
Jane,
He is
she
big.
wants to
are
play.
very happy.
She wants to
They
play.
are very
Who wants to
happy.
play?
They are very happy.
She wants to
They
play.
are very happy.
Father.
They are very happy.
He is
They are very happy. 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 Do you want to play with Jane?
Look, here comes a friend. A friend will play with Jane. They'll play a good game.
Quiet as it's kept. There were no marigolds in the fall of 1941. Not even the gardens fronting the lake showed marigolds that year. We thought, at the time, it was because Piccola was having her father's baby that the marigolds did not grow. We had dropped our seeds in our own little plot of black dirt, just as Piccola's father had dropped his seeds in his own plot of black dirt.
The seeds shriveled and died. Piccola's baby, too. There's really nothing more to say except why.
But, since why is difficult to handle, one must take refuge in how.
Here is the family, Mother and Jane. They are very happy.
Mrs. Breedlove was a peculiar sort.
All the Breedloves are peculiar.
Frida?
Well, it's true, peculiar and funny looking.
When I had my girl, I said I'd love it, no matter what it looked like.
Actually, the Breedloves were not ugly, so much as they were just poor and black and believed that they were ugly.
They were peculiar.
You already said that.
Well, that's true.
Please, God, please make me disappear. Please, 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 God.
Peculiar, like they lived in a storefront instead of a regular house.
And Piccola called her mother Mrs. Breedlove.
Peculiar.
I went to the hospital when my time come. Didn't want to have it at home. The doctor put me in a room with a whole mess of women. The pain was coming, but not too bad. The doctors come to examine me.
Please, God. Please, please make me invisible. Please, 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 please,
One of the old doctors was teaching the young ones about babies. When he got to me, he said, "Now these here women you have no trouble with. They deliver right away with no pain, just like horses."
Piccola's pain antagonized me. I wanted to open her up, ram with a stick down that hunched and curving spine. I wanted to force her to stand erect and spit the misery out on the streets.
But she held her misery where it could lap into her eyes.
Amen. If I close my eyes shut real tight, little parts of my body start to go away. I have to do it real slow, like then in a rush. First off, my fingers go one by one. Then my arms go all the way up to my elbows. My feet now. Yes, that's very good. My legs go all at once. Above my thighs is the hardest part. I have to stand real still and pull and pull and pull. Once my stomach goes, the chest and neck fall along pretty easy. The face is hard too. Almost there. Almost there. But my eyes is always left.
One of the doctor's students even looked at me, looked me in the eyes. I looked right back at him, and he turned away and turned red. He knew that maybe I weren't no horse foal.
No matter how hard I try, my eyes is always left. And I try. Every night, I pray for God to deliver me blue eyes. I pray now going on a year, but I have hope still. I figure God is very busy, and I am very small. To have something as wonderful as that happen would take a long, long time. Blue eyes like Shirley Temple, or Mary Jane on the Mary Jane candies, or Jane in the Primark school.
I seen them doctors talk to them white women. How you feel? Gonna have twins? Nice friendly talk. When them pains got harder, I'm on something awful. They weren't as bad as I let on, but I had to let them know that having a baby was more than a bowel movement. I hurt, just like them white women. They think just because I've known how to have a baby with no fuss, that I wasn't pulling and aching like theirs. Besides, that doctor don't know what he's talking about. who say they can't feel no pain just because she don't cry. If they look her in the eyes and see that soulful look, they'd know.
And people would have to be nice to me. The teachers would look at me, really look me in my eyes, and say, look at pretty-eyed Nicole. We mustn't do bad things in front of those pretty eyes. Pretty eyes. Pretty blue eyes.
She was a big old healthy baby. I like to watch her nurse. She makes these greedy sounds when she nurses. Eyes all soft and wet, like a cross between a puppy and a dying man. She had pretty brown hair and pretty brown eyes, but Lord, she was ugly.
They are very happy.
The Breedlove's ugliness was a unique kind of ugliness.
No one could convince them that they were not aggressively and relentlessly ugly,
Except for Charlie.
whose ugliness had more to do with his behavior.
Mrs. Breedlove and Coca-Cola wore their ugliness. Put it on, so to speak, although it did not belong to them. You looked at them and wondered why they were so ugly.
He looked and he could not find a source.
Then you realized it came from their conviction. It was as though some mysterious, all-knowing master had given each one a cloak of ugliness to wear, and they had each accepted it without question. The master had said, you are ugly people. It was a truth supported by every movie, every billboard, every glance.
Yes, you are right.
On a Saturday morning in October, not much different from any other Saturday morning in October, they began one by one to stir out of their dreams of affluence and vengeance into the anonymous misery of their ugly storefront and ugly lives.
I need some coal. I said I need some more.
Ah, woman!
I need some coal now. It's cold. I got a lot of things to do, but I ain't got to freeze.
Leave me alone.
If working like a mule don't give me the right to be warm, what am I doing it for? You sure don't bring in nothing. If it was up to you, we'd all be dead. If you think I'm gonna wade out into the cold and get it myself, you better think again.
I don't care how you get it.
Are you gonna get your drunk self out of that bed and get me some coal or not? Charlie, don't try me this morning, man. All right. But if I sneeze once, just once, God help you.
They knew Mrs. Breedlove could have, would have, and had gotten the coal from the shed. She might even have had the coal to do it.
This was a ceremonial dance. The orchestra was warming up. They waited in anticipation for the conductor's baton. Charlie and Mrs. Breedlove fought each other with a darkly brutal formalism that was paralleled only by their lovemaking. Tacitly, they had agreed to not kill each other. He fought her to way a coward by her feet, palms, hands, and teeth. She, in turn, fought back in a clearly feminine way. The frying pans, the pokers, the occasional flat iron that still hit his head. They did not talk, groan, or curse during these beatings. There was only the muted sound of falling things and flesh on unsurprised flesh.
Piccola, now you go get me that coal.
She's gonna stay with the white people she worked for.
Well, maybe I can get some graham crackers and milk, and you can use my Shirley Temple cup, but you can't let Mama know that we're using it outside because we can only eat snacks inside, okay?
I love Shirley Temple. Why? I don't know. She's pretty and talented and people love her.
I don't.
Why? Did you see the movie where she danced with Bojangles?
That's why I hate her.
Claudia just mad because she wanted to dance with Bojangles.
Truth be told, what I felt for Shirley Temple was unsullied hatred. Mr. Jangles wasn't supposed to be dancing with that white girl. He was my friend, my uncle, my daddy. He should have been soft-shoeing it and chuckling with me. At least someone who looked like me. It all started with my annual blonde, blue-eyed Christmas doll. What was I supposed to do with it? Feed it? Rock it? Bathe it? Be its mother? I'll tell you what I did with it. I destroyed it. I had only one desire, to dismember it. If I could rip it apart, maybe I would understand what the world thought was just so wonderful about pink skin and yellow hair. I would not, could not love it. I fingered the face, picked the pearly teeth, traced the turned up nose, poked the glassy blue eyeballs. I pulled out the hair, twisted the head around the thing that made that one horrible sound.
Mama.
It sounded to me like the bleat of a dying lamb. I'd remove the cold and stupid eyeball. It would stare at me with one eye and still bleat.
Mama.
Take off the head, crack the back against the floor, it would bleat.
Mama.
What was worse, I wanted to commit a systematic dismembering of real little white girls to find out what magic it was that they weaved on others. What made people look at them and go, oh, but not see me at all. Why was I invisible next to little white girls? If I pinched them, they actually cried. Later, I learned that my desire to harm white girls was repulsive. I substituted love for the pangs of guilt I couldn't bring myself to feel. So, I learned to make a show of loving Shirley Temple. Even convince myself. But I was years away from understanding the complexity of my emotions, and so was resigned to sit and fume while Frida and Picola played with their dolls on into the night.
The sun had gone. The smell of promised rain, pine, and musketing made Charlie giddy. Turning his head to see where the moon was, Charlie caught sight of Darlene. That was years before Charlie had made Picola's mother Mrs. Breedlove. Years before anybody went upside anybody's head. Years before anybody was put out on anything. That was years before the seeds did not grow. Maybe it's when it all started to go terribly wrong.
In the winter, we forced ourselves to eat breakfast of cold oatmeal and cocoa with a roof of skin.
But mostly, we wait for spring, when there will be gardens.
Then, in the middle of the winter gloom, a distraction.
Maureen Peel.
She's beautiful.
She isn't all that.
It's true.
Fine. Okay, so Maureen was beautiful. A high yellow dream child with long brown hair, braided in two legs that hung.
I think she's rich.
She was as rich as the richest of white girls.
The quality of her clothes threatened to derange us.
Skin bright and yellow, soft and smooth like churned butter.
She enchanted the entire school. When teachers called on her, they smiled encouragingly. Black boys didn't trip on the halls, white boys didn't stone her.
White girls didn't suck their teeth in when they were assigned to be work partners. Black girls stepped aside so she can use the sink in the girls' toilet.
Frida and I were both irritated and fascinated by her. We looked hard for flaws, but the most we could do was ugly up her name.
Maureen Peel, more like meringue pie. She ain't nothing but a big old nasty piece of ugly meringue pie.
We were overjoyed to learn that she had been born with 6 fingers on each hand, and there was a little bump where each extra one had been removed.
And she had a dog tooth.
6-finger dog tooth meringue pie. A small chime, to be sure. Behind the backs of her faithful and adoring public,
Picola included.
we snickered and called her names. In her presence, we became just a little bit dirtier, a little poorer, and a bit more invisible. And then, Horror of horrors, she was assigned a locker next to mine.
Hi.
Hi.
Waiting for your sister?
Uh-huh.
Which way do you go home?
Down 21st Street to Broadway.
I guess I could walk part of the way that way.
Free country. Means you're gonna walk part way with that.
She stay at your house?
Her mom was fixing that place.
What's your name?
Nicola.
My name is Maureen Peel. We just moved here.
Of course we knew her name. Everyone knew her name.
Coca-Cola. Wasn't that the name of the girl in Imitation of Life?
What's that?
The picture show, you know? Where this mulatto girl hates her mother because she's black and ugly, but then she cries at the funeral. It was real sad. I really pleasant.
Oh.
Anyway, when it comes back, my mother has seen it 4 times. Mrs. Breedlove.
My mama said she used to go to the show crowds once.
My mother told me that a girl where we used to live went to the beauty parlor and asked the lady to fix her hair up like Hedy Lamar's. And then the lady said, "Yeah, when you grow some hair like Hedy Lamar." That's crazy. That girl was 16 and didn't even start menstruating yet. Do you? Me too. I started 2 months ago.
You know what it's for?
For babies. Babies need blood when they're inside you. And if you're having a baby, you don't menstruate. But if you're not, you don't need the blood, so it comes out.
But how do babies get the blood?
Baby gets blood through the lifeline. It's where your belly button is.
And how come boys have belly buttons? They don't have babies.
I don't know. But I think boys have all sorts of things they don't need.
Oh, where would I see a naked man? That would be uncivilized.
I don't know. I just asked the question.
I wouldn't look at a naked man if he stood in front of me. That would be nasty. Nobody's father would be naked in front of his own daughter, not unless he was dirty too.
I didn't say anything about a father. I just said a naked man. How could you say father?
Who else would she see, Dogtooth? I was glad for a real reason to be mad. Truth be told, I was a little jealous that Marina turned all her sunshine attention on Coca-Cola. Like they were best friends or something.
I wasn't talking to you anyway. I don't care if she sees her daddy naked all day and all night. Who cares?
You do, because you have a dirty mind.
You better be quiet.
Oh, you gonna make me?
You already made. Mammy made.
Don't be talking about her mom.
Stop talking about my daddy.
Who said anything about your daddy?
You did.
You started it.
I was talking to either of you. I was talking to Coca-Cola.
I never saw my daddy naked. Never.
Did your own daddy too? I never heard of anything so nasty.
Stop talking about her daddy.
What do I care about her old black daddy?
Oh no, she did.
Oh yes, she did.
Who are you calling black?
You
think you're so cute.
I am cute. You are ugly. You're all ugly, ugly black emos. I am cute. 6-figure doctor ring pie.
Sure is pretty.
Thanks.
So what you gonna do now?
I don't know. Just wander around, I guess. Maybe look for my daddy.
You know where he is?
I don't even know who he is. Probably won't find him. You want some more grapes?
Nah, we gonna need to get back soon. My mom will whip me if I come back late. My dress is all messed up.
A new emotion caught Charlie off guard.
Charlie's giddiness was replaced with emptiness. He had finally realized that his Aunt Jimmy was dead, and the sudden absence of somebody to whoop him took his breath away.
You don't look so bad to me. Here.
They came together as natural and as sweet as the night the day had become. It was at once playful and exciting. The act itself was not as difficult as Charlie imagined it would be. It felt more like home than anything he had ever known. As his own excitement grew, he heard her moans as no more than the pines sighing above his head. crown.
Get on with it.
Sir?
I said, get on with it.
Make it good.
Make it real good.
There was no place for Charlie's eyes to go. He was paralyzed. The white man held a gun in his hands. He dropped back to his knees.
Charlene held on to Charlie, who looked out of the flashlight into the darkness, looking almost unconcerned as though they had no part in the drama taking place around them.
Her hands clutching his tightly like claws.
With a violence born of total helplessness, Charlie pulled up her dress, lowered his trousers and underwear.
That's right. Go on now.
Darlene covered her face with her hands as Charlie began to simulate what had before been beautiful. Now it was something ugly and confusing, and he hated her for it.
He almost wished that he could hurt her to make up for the hurt and shame that he felt.
Hurry it up, boy. We gotta be going. Don't have all day.
Come on. They'd be looking for us.
What you want to do today?
Why don't we go across town and see Picola's at her mom's work?
Since Picola was now back at her house and school was now over,
Frida and I were bouncing off each other and the walls.
so we decided to take the long walk across town all the way to Lakeshore Park.
Hi.
Hi.
What are you all doing here?
Looking for you. Do you got time to come over to our house?
Mrs. Breedlove don't like me leaving far from here when it's supposed to be helping.
What are you girls doing here?
Can't we see Picola?
She about to come get the wash. Y'all can come in while I go get it.
We were led into a massive sparkling wet kitchen. Orders of meat, vegetables, and something freshly baked filled the air.
Now y'all stay here and don't touch anything till I get back.
We hadn't had time to admire the fairy book kitchen properly when another door opened and a little white girl walked in. Her hair wasn't straight and so red, and her eyes blue instead of green. I might have mistaken her for Shirley Temple.
Miss Holly?
And there was my urge to squash her and perform the same ritual I performed on my white dolls. How could she call Mrs. Breedlove Polly? Mrs. Breedlove, who was Mrs. Breedlove even to Picola. She went downstairs to get the watch.
Holly? Holly? Claudia Picola, come look at this. Holly, come here! Isn't this the prettiest pie you've ever seen?
Oh, yeah. Mrs. Breedlove don't make things like this for us.
That pie fell to the floor and splattered scalding hot apples everywhere. Most of the juice splashed up on Picola's legs. Mrs. Breedlove was on top of Picola in a heartbeat.
Crazy fool! Look what you did. My floor's messed up. Hush now, don't cry. Look at what a pretty dress you have. Don't cry. Polly's got it. She'll get you a new dress in no time. Pick up that wash and get on out of here before I clean this mess up.
Holly, who were they?
They weren't nobody. Don't you worry.
The honey in her words complimented the sundown spilling onto the lake. And we all felt this as we began the long trek around the perimeter of the park toward home. The pieces of Charlie's life can make sense only in the head of a musician.
Only a musician could give true form to Charlie's painful and confused life.
Only a musician would know without even knowing what Charlie knew. That he was free. Not a good kind of freedom. A freedom tilting into madness born of a kind of loneliness and desperation that answers to no one. This kind of perverted freedom rendered him free to feel whatever he felt.
Free to be tender or violent, to whistle or weep.
It was this freeness that he met, married, and loved Polly Williams, and turned her into Mrs. Breedlove.
When he saw her leaning on that fence, scratching the back of her leg with her foot,
He fell in love and made her his.
and so it was on a Saturday afternoon that Charlie came home, drunk, wrapped in his warped sense of freedom, that he saw his daughter in the kitchen.
She was washing the dishes.
Her small back hunched over the sink.
He saw her dimly, but couldn't really tell what he saw or how he felt. He knew that he was uncomfortable, but like so many times before, his uncomfortableness started to feel like pleasure. Then revulsion, and then guilt, and then pity, and then love.
The only kind of love Charlie had ever known. A violent, painful, lonely love. His revulsion was a reaction to her young, helpless, hopeless presence.
I mean, she was just a child. Why wasn't she happy? He wanted to break her neck.
But tenderly.
I mean, why did she have to look so whipped? And what could he do for her? Ever. What could a burned-out black man say to the hunchback of his 11-year-old daughter? And he couldn't look her in the face, because if he did, he'd see those haunted, loving eyes.
The hauntedness would irritate him. The love would make him feel unworthy. His hatred of her slimed in his stomach and threatened to become vomit.
But just before the puke could enter his mouth,
She shifted her weight onto one foot, scratched the back of her calf with her toe.
It was a small and familiar gesture. The timid, tucked-in look of the scratching toe.
this was exactly what Pauline was doing the first time I'd seen her in Kentucky.
It was such a simple gesture. And once again, the dangerous, ugly, violent freedom. The desperate aching to claim manhood through the most unspeakable.
Unthinkable.
He sunk down to his knees, his eyes on Cola's foot. He raised one hand and caught her foot in an upward stroke.
Cole lost her balance and was about to careen to the floor.
He raised his hands to her hips to stop her from falling, then he closed his eyes. Let his fingers dig into her waist. The rigidness of her shocked body, the silence of her stunned throat was better than Pauline's easy laughter had been.
The drunken, confused mixture of the memories of Pauline and the doing of a wild and forbidden thing excited him.
No matter if it was wrong.
For what was wrong to Charlie? Even if he had the power to discern wrong from right, it wouldn't matter, for he lived only in the want of it.
The next thing he knew, or maybe he remembered, or maybe it didn't happen at all.
It happened.
It happened. It happened.
The next thing he remembered was her soapy hands wrapped around his wrist, clutching tightly like claws.
He removed himself from her small, dry, wounded body.
She seemed to have fainted.
Once again, his hatred mixed with tenderness. The hatred wouldn't let him pick her up, but the tenderness forced him to cover her.
So when the child regained consciousness, she was lying on the kitchen floor.
And that is the ugly, untidy power of it. The why that we continue to muddle through.
See the dog. Bow, wow, wow, goes the dog. Do you want to play?
Once there was a man who loved things. He loved things because the slightest contact with people made him sick to his stomach. All his life, he had a fondness for things. He abhorred flesh on flesh, body odor, breath odor, the sight of dried matter in the corner of an eye, decayed or missing teeth, moles, blackheads, blisters, any of the many natural secretions the human body was capable of disgusted him to the core. His attentions therefore settled on those humans who were least offensive. Children.
His disdain for people led him into a profession designed to serve them. However, there was one problem.
Bertha Reese's mangy, nasty old dog, Bob.
The dog was as quiet and deaf as Bertha.
The most revolting sight you would ever see. He spent most of his days on the porch in front of the door. His beady eyes ran with sea green matter around which gnats and flies clustered.
Soaphead prayed for the dog to hurry up and
A
die.
humane wish.
It didn't occur to Soaphead that his humane death wish for the dog was actually a reflection of his own suffering.
Soaphead decided to put an end to the animal's misery and bought some poison with which to do it.
Only the horror of having to get rid of the dog prevented Soaphead from completing his mission.
So we waited for rage or blinding revulsion to give him the courage to do what has to be done.
And it was in this wait that a very pregnant Cola made her way to Soaphead's front door.
What can I do for you, my child?
It's true you help people get their wishes, Mr. Church?
Please, call me Soaphead Church. Everyone else does.
So you can help me, mister. You can help me.
What do you need me to do?
My eyes. I want them blue. I want them blue so people don't turn their heads away from me when I walk down the street. So my belly stop growing and my baby be strong. I want them blue so my mom will love me. And I have friends and they think I'm pretty. I want them blue so people stop doing ugly things in front of me and I'll stop being invisible.
Kneel, my child. We must make some offering. That is, some kind of contact with nature. Perhaps there is a small vehicle through which he will speak. Let us see. Take this, and give it to the creature sleeping on the front porch. Make sure he drinks it all, and mark well how he behaves. If nothing happens, you will know that God has refused you. If the animal behaves strangely, your wish will be granted on the day following this one.
How many times a minute are you gonna look at that old thing?
I didn't look a long time.
You did too.
So what? I can look if I want to.
I didn't say you couldn't. I just don't know why you have to look every minute.
I know it. I just like to look.
You scared they might go away?
Of course not. How can they go away?
The others went away.
Did not. Just change.
Go away change? What's the difference?
A lot. Mr. Philip had church, so these are going to last me forever.
Forever and ever, amen?
You are jealous.
So what? So I am jealous.
Are my eyes really very nice?
Yes, very nice.
Truly, bluely nice? The truly bluest eye?
Yes, truly, bluely nice.
They all pretend they can't see me. Can you imagine something like that happening to a person and nobody's saying anything about it?
They're probably jealous too.
You're the only one who tells me how pretty they are. You are a real friend.
Yes, yes I am.